Right, we've got a Honda Blackbird today, and the problem with this Blackbird is pedal all the way down on the rear brake. Now, these Blackbirds, they've got a linked braking system, so they've got a pipe that runs from the back all the way up to the front, and it links into the front here. So you've got two pistons that run off the front brake and a piston that runs off the rear brake, so it's combined. And then round on this side here, you've got a mechanism here so that as you apply more brakes, it applies leverage against this plunger here, which then applies the rear brake. So your leverage on your front is applying your rear, and your brake pedal from your rear is applying the front. Now that sounds like good fun. In practice it works quite well, but in reality it's going to be a bit of a pain to bleed, because there's clearly a whole load of air in there. So that's what we've got to do now. So first job here is we're going to take the rear plastic off, because around this side here is, as you can see from that pipe going up in here, under here somewhere is where that rear reservoir lives, and we're going to need that to top that up. So first job here is to take this cover off. And this is what you need. A cup of tea, but hopefully with a smile. Okay, with the tailpiece off, we can now get to the reservoir, so we can start the process of bleeding this all out. Right, so down in there you can see the caliper, and we've got a spanner on there, and then we've got a length of pipe, and already in a couple of pumps you can see that we've got some air in our pipe. You see there's fluid there, nothing there, fluid there, and then basically all we got to do is just to pump a bit up, crack him loose, and give it a couple of pumps and see if anything comes out. And then lock him off, and then see how we're getting on. But now we need to top up the reservoir again, because as we're pumping it through, we're getting some fluid gone down through the pipe and out. So that's the next thing, is now just pop a bit of fluid in there. That'll do nicely. And then we'll go again. We've still got quite a long brake pedal on the first press, so there's a good chance there's still some more air in there. So we'll crack him loose, and we'll pump a bit more through, see if we get some more air out. Now, because of this linked system, it's quite possible that we could get all the air out of this bit, and there's plenty of air left in other parts. Still seem to be getting air bubbles coming through. You can see down in the pipe there, and then up in here as well. Right, so as well as topping that up, we've pumped a load throughout the back, so we're going to move on to the front. But before we do, we're going to give it a good old dose of brake fluid, because that brake fluid will do a really good job of eating all the paint off of your caliper. So we're just giving it a good old flush with some brake cleaner, just to get rid of any excess brake fluid out of the way, because we don't want that stuff everywhere. It ain't good. Not good at all. So that'll make sure that we don't lose any paint off of those. And then we move on to the front. Right, so now we're moving on to the front. As I mentioned before, you've got another two bleed nipples here. This bleed nipple on the top is for the outside two, which is the front brake, the centre piston is operated by the rear brake, so that's that centre one there, so that's the one we're going to bleed next. Same drill as before. Okay, let's crack this one loose a little bit and see what we get when we give that a pump. Seem to be getting any air out of there. That looks to be pretty good, so I'm going to lock that one off. That's no good doing that. And then finally on the left hand side of the front, again you've got a bleed nipple at the top, and that's feeding these outer two pistons, and the centre piston is there, so we get a spanner on and we just crack it loose before we then put the fitting on there. And this is where having someone to help is really useful, because James, if you can go and pump the pedal for me. It's okay, leave that to dangle. And we get some help with pumping. And we're not seeing any air coming up through, so I'm going to lock him off. How does it feel back there? It's gone pretty firm, yeah? Yep. Good. Okay, so what we do is we leave that for a few seconds to see whether it bleeds back at all, because sometimes you get a hard brake pedal and then you come back 30 seconds later and it's been compressed by the pumping and then it expands again. So we'll see how it goes, otherwise we go round again. And the same drill again with the same one starting at the rear. Okay, so we've been right round it, we've been to the back and we've been to the front, and we've still got, it's better, but we've still got a long pedal, so we're going to go back to the beginning again and go around the sequence. And there we go. That's a bit more air then. Definitely had a bit more air came out of that system just then. So hopefully that will take care of it. And we just keep pumping and we move around one at a time to each of them. Okay, so after that last bleed, we've now got some real resistance on the brake pedal, which is a good sign. Yep. I think it's fairly safe to say we've got the air out of the system. So we should actually have some brakes on this girl. So all we've got to do now is button it back up, get the bodywork back up across on the back there, and then it's good to go and time for a test ride. There is one other little job we're going to do, which is these, it's had foot peg lowering jobbies on it. We're going to put those back to standard and see how that rides, and then take it from there. And that's it really. Anyway, so hope you've enjoyed that video. Don't forget to click the subscribe and the like and all that usual stuff. You know what to do. You'll find the buttons down below the video somewhere down there. Do your clicking, and we'll see you on the next one.